Halafka, Chairman for the Libertarian Party of Florida. It is December 17th, 2023. It is currently 7:32 p.m. and I'm now calling this meeting of the Executive Committee to order. We can begin with roll call and introduction of guests. So when you're ready, Mr. Appler, you may go ahead with roll call, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Josh Falafka.
Present.
Tub Rurba.
Oh, hang on. Let me turn my mic on. Oh, present.
Thank you, sir. Edward Appler, present. Pat Leisner.
Present.
Robert Vinson. Hector Roos.
I'm here.
Lee Kartzer.
Present.
Matt Rice.
Mr. Rice. Oh, sorry, Mr.
Okay,
Appler. Mr. Rice reached out. He's on vacation for the holidays, visiting family, so I've excused his absence.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Joey Ferguson. Leon Armstrong. Rachel McCauley. Well, I see
Here.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you. Andrew Parrott. Johnson.
I'm here.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Hector.
Today is his birthday. He finally responded to me, so that on his birthday.
Okay, is it an excusable absence, Mr. Chair?
I will excuse the birthday absence, although technically speaking, Mr. Parrott had already missed 3 unexcused absences. Although I think considering this is the last meeting of the term, it's redundant to consider it vacated. So I'm going to excuse this absence. We're going to consider him a member of the board, but just want to make note for all intents and purposes that technically Mr. Parrott's seat would have been vacated this meeting, regardless of this situation.
Noted. Vidrag Quinn.
Present.
Dennis Missigoy. Adam Whitworth.
Present.
Michael Rufo.
Present.
John Paff.
Here.
Yana Cosma.
Here.
Lisa Gansky.
Here.
We have 14 present for quorum.
All right. Excellent, Mr. Appler. Thank you. So we have quorum, ladies and gentlemen. I do see Mr. Cowan is also on the call, our LNC Region 2 alternate. So I want to thank Mr. Cowan for showing up here tonight and joining us for this meeting. And we can move now into item 4 on the agenda, which is public comment here. So give about 10 minutes here for anybody not on the EC or not a committee chair in the gallery who'd like to address the executive committee. Now is your time here. Would anybody wish to be recognized? Going once, going twice. Okay, hearing and seeing no one for public comment, we will move along. I want to thank all of our guests for attending tonight. Item 5 on the agenda is the approval of the agendas. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Ms. Cosma, go ahead.
Actually, I would like to move to amend the agenda to add the approval or a motion for Michael Smith to become the chair of the Affiliate Support Committee. I don't know exactly how I move that, but.
All right, so I will absolutely entertain that amendment, but we do have to first put the motion to adopt the agenda on the table here. So Ms. Cosma, would you like to make the motion to adopt the agenda and then I'll accept your amendment afterwards?
I'll second.
Yes. Yes, so
Okay.
I amend to adopt the agenda to add the appointing of Michael Smith to the chair of Affiliate Support Committee.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Roos seconds, and then Ms. Cosma in that case afterwards motions to amend the agenda to add a section in new business here to after item A to elect a new affiliate support committee chair.
Elect Mike Smith as the new.
Thank you. Yep. Yes, sir, Mr. Quartz. I appreciate
I
that.
second the motion.
So, all right, and there is a second for the amendment there. So once
Mr.
again,
Chair.
guys, go ahead, sir.
Motion to amend the amendment.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
I would also like to strike all of the reports that have been already submitted in writing from region
Okay.
reps, officers, committee chairs.
All right, so this is technically out of order because we are on the amendment here. That said, I will recognize and entertain this amendment once we get through the first amendment there. Does that sound fair?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Johnson there. So let's go first to the First Amendment here, which is the amendment to elect Mr. Smith as the new Affiliate Support Committee chair. The mover was Ms. Cosma. It was seconded by Mr. Quartzer. Is there any discussion on this amendment? Hearing and seeing none, is there any objection to this amendment? Hearing and seeing none, amendment passes unanimously. We are adding in a item on the agenda to elect Mr. Smith as the Affiliate Support Committee chair. There was also another amendment to the agenda to strike all of the committee and officer and EC reports there by Mr. Johnson. Was there a second for this amendment?
Second.
I'll second.
All right, I'm going to give it to Mr. Quinn since he got off there first with that there. So moved by Mr. Johnson, seconded by Mr. Quinn to strike all of the committee and EC reports. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Hearing and seeing none, is there any objection to the amendment? Once again, hearing and seeing none, it sounds like the voice of democracy has spoken, and we have struck all of the committee and EC reports. All right, is there any further amendments to the already amended agenda? Hearing and seeing none, is there any further discussion? Is there any objection to the agenda as amended? Hearing and seeing no objection, agenda motion passes. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We have an agenda here, and we will move along there, which would be item 6, which is the approval of the LPF EC meeting minutes for November 19th, 2023. Is anybody looking to move that?
I'll make a motion.
All right, Mr. Quinn moves to approve the meeting minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Quartzer seconds. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes? All right, hearing and seeing none. Is there any objection to approval of the meeting minutes? All right, hearing and seeing none. Motion to approve the meeting minutes passes unanimously, and we will move along with that on to item 7 on the agenda, which is the LNC report for Mr. Cowan here. I don't believe there's going to be any objection to this, Martin. So when you're ready, go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
All right, thank you. You hear me, correct?
Yes, sir. You're good.
So we had our in-person meeting out in Orange County, California, a couple of weeks ago, and that was very pleasant. What a lovely place it was. We were on the Pacific Ocean, and the weather was gorgeous, and I can understand why people are inclined to like the weather in California. I actually got in the hot tub this time. The only thing that was of interest, and it was a very they want to do away with Civi. I suppose you all have the sense of that and are aware of that. And there was a whole lot of push for that. I mean, I've always said, it's not my business to, do away with Civi. That's sort of an operational thing, which shouldn't be a board thing. And that was always my opinion. Of course, my opinion doesn't count since I'm an alternate. But so I've always been, if that's what somebody that does IT thinks is the right thing, I've always been in favor of it. Dave Benner was very much interested in making it clear to everyone who cares about this thing that this is not a drop dead stop date. So we're not saying as of January the 15th, 2024, we're dropping Civi. That's nothing like what's proposed. The proposal is that over the next months and years, we migrate out of it to another product, the product to be chosen by the smart people who do IT. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about me or Dave. I'm talking about IT people who are the employees. So that passed, but it was pushed very hard, and I was interested how hard the push was because everybody that opened their mouth said something about how difficult Civi is. I don't think there was any opposition to it at the LNC. I could be wrong. Somebody here is on the LNC with me and Mike could tell us whether or not there was any opposition. I don't recall that there was. So it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it very much. As I've said, every time I've come, it's great pleasure and an honor to serve on this board and to represent you. And I thank you very much for that. It is an expensive project. It's at least $1,000 a trip. And that was true this time. And so $4,000 a year to be on the LNC is a big burden. Because I'm planning to run for a political office next year, I am not going to submit my name to run again as alternate to the LNC. I'm going to complete my term. I'm going to show up at the next meeting, and I have bought the president's package for the convention, and I intend to go to DC and be there with all my bells on and supporting the party as best I can. So I want you all to know that I'm not going to be running for alternate LNC Region 2, and that if somebody cares about that job and wants to have it, you need to think about it and sign up for it. Anyway, that's my report. Again, thank you for allowing me to serve. It's a great honor, and I'll continue visiting with you as I am able in the remaining 6 months before we have a convention in DC. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Cowan. Mr. Rufo, I see your hands up. Was there a comment or a question for Mr. Cowan?
Well, I just want to add some additional information about what's going on with the LNC as far as the next meeting.
Go ahead, sir.
There's a push to have the next in-person LNC meeting in Florida. And then the discussion that I've had with a few is that if we can get the full LNC on board and it gets approved, the goal would be to have it in like the Fort Lauderdale area, since the convention will be in January up in Jacksonville. So anybody in the Fort Lauderdale area, once it is approved, who would like to help Stephen and I with local connections and making sure we can set up a very successful event and a nice fundraiser on that Saturday night, just keep in mind and pay attention. And I'll be reaching out if and when it does get approved that we are going to be coming to Florida for the next meeting.
Awesome. Excellent to hear, Mr. Rufo. Live and work right by Fort Lauderdale. So if that does get approved, just let me know and I will do what I can to assist out there. Any other questions or comments for our LNC rep? All right. Well, once again, thank you, Mr. Cowan. I appreciate you joining us here, putting in the work, helping out with the LNC, doing all that. Always glad to hear people are running for office. Wish you the best there. What are you running for, Martin?
I haven't decided yet. Because everybody's pushing for the local thing, I really want to run for sheriff. Boy, I could really hammer that one. And there would be so many great commercials that I could run. I'd love to, run that commercial where the guy's, on the surfboard out in LA, Los Angeles County, and they arrest him. And, I say, this is your sheriff's department. It could be your sheriff's department. You need somebody like me who's not going to do that kind of crap. But there's a ton of advertisements like that, which I'd love to do. And I'm looking forward to running. I'll have to I'll have to become a certified police officer. You know, you can't be the sheriff unless you're a certified police officer. So I have to go to class for, I don't know how long that takes, but that'll be interesting to take a class in how to become a cop. Anyway, so that's what I'm thinking about.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Martin, there. I hope everything it goes well for you. And, I look forward to seeing how the police law enforcement classes go for you if you do go that route there. So once again, good luck. I wish you all the best, the candidate there. And, as always, thank you, not only yourself, but Mr. Rufo, who's also on the ONC. You guys do a thankless job doing, volunteering on that committee. And once again, I appreciate you guys and the work you guys put in at Nationals there.
Thank you.
It's not a problem, sir. And getting back on orders of the day here, item 8 on the agenda would have been the committee reports. We did strike the committee reports, as well as item 9, which is the officer reports and comments, and item 10, which is director at large and regional reports there. So we will just continue moving along down the agenda. Item 11 is unfinished business. We have no unfinished business there. So we will move on to item 12, which is new business. Section A under item 12 of new business is the election of a Region 3 representative. Is there anyone looking to nominate a Region 3 representative at this time by any chance? All right, hearing and seeing no one there, not a problem. Didn't have not much of a surprise with that one there. Gonna say we're getting in the convention soon, guys. So, Region 2, Region 4, 5, the surrounding areas. If you run into anybody amongst your travels or talk to anyone with the connections to anyone in Region 3 who, may be looking to come to convention, definitely let them know we had a space open for a rep all year. And, we'd love to fill that with somebody who lives in the area and would like to get active out there. So moving along, the amended agenda would have item B under new business be the election of Michael Smith to the Affiliate Support Committee chair position. I would call that mover Ms. Cosma on that there. Is there a second on this?
Second, Koritzer.
All right, Mr. Koritzer seconds. Is there any discussion on electing Mr. Michael Smith to the position of Affiliate Support Committee chair? Mr. Smith, would you like to maybe have a minute or two to speak for yourself on, or behalf of yourself, on why you should be selected real quick?
Sure. Been active in the Broward County affiliate for 8 years. Been a Libertarian for over 10 years. Before I moved down to Broward County, I was an officer with the Manhattan chapter in New York. And if approved, I look forward to leading the affiliate support committee for the LPF and getting new affiliates up and running and supporting existing affiliates however I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Orba, I see your hands up. Go ahead, sir. You have the floor.
Actually, this is a question for you, Mr. Smith. So here's the thing. I kind of want to ask you how much time you have to put into this position, because to me, this is a very important spot. And it pains me that it's been going most of the year without getting fulfilled, because I see a lot of opportunity inside of that role. And in all honesty, as long as I'm in this position, at least for a few more weeks, you're probably going to hear from me a few times. So if you're willing to deal with me, then you should be great. But I just want to know the amount of time that you might have available for the position itself.
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Yep. No, I look forward to hearing from you. All the help I could get will be greatly appreciated. As far as time goes, I've been fortunate since I moved to Florida to having a good amount of time to dedicate towards the cause. And for the last 8 years, like I said, I've been dedicating it to the county, my home affiliate here. And now I look to redirect that time to this committee. As far as time goes, quite a bit. I have a flexible schedule. over the next 3 months here. I'm going through the work, slow part of my work cycle, so I'll really be able to hit the ground running. And then moving forward beyond that, I'll be willing and able to dedicate a good amount of time to this. I know it is an important position. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Rohrbaugh, did that answer your question? I'll take the thumbs up as a yes on there.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
Not a problem, sir. Is there any further questions or discussion? All right. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move this to a quick voice vote there, guys. So a yay vote would be in favor of approving Mr. Smith to be the new Affiliate Support Committee Chair. A no vote would be against having Mr. Smith as the Affiliate Support Committee Chair. Is there any questions on what we're voting on? All right, hearing and seeing none. All in favor of making Mr. Smith the Affiliate Support Committee Chair, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. All right, the ayes have it unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Smith. You're the new Affiliate Support Committee Chair until the February meeting here. So if there's anything you need, definitely let me or Pastor Tubb know, and we will do our best to support you, however that can be. All right, and
Thank you.
Nope, thank you, sir. All right, and then moving on to the rest of the motions for the evening, guys. Next up is motion number 825. The title is a motion to replace the LPF standing rules. The mover was Mr. Appler on behalf of the Rules Committee, which I know this did come out of committee, so it does not require a second. Mr. Appler, would you like to speak or on the motion, or defer to Mr. Peel, who I see is on the call as the Rules Committee Chair, to speak on it?
I would prefer to defer to Mr. Peel.
I had a funny feeling.
Understand the next motion.
I had a funny feeling that was going to be the case there, Mr. Appler. Mr. Peel, are you still on the call?
Yes, sir. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can. Mr. Peel, would you like to speak on behalf of the motion submitted by the Rules Committee, sir?
I would be delighted to.
All right, floor is yours. Go ahead when you're ready.
All right, so this motion is the culmination of 4+ months of effort by the current Rules Committee. It was a vision of the prior Rules Committee, but we had not been able to execute it that term. This was a comprehensive review, update, and cleanup of the LPF standing rules, which, to my knowledge, has not been done since before I joined the party. We basically went through and analyzed every article, every section to determine, is it still needed? In a lot of cases, the answer was no. We actually proposed cutting 80% of the existing content due to either the content had been subsequently promoted to the Constitution and bylaws, so it's still present, just in a higher tier document, or changes to the Constitution and bylaws had rendered it out of order, and therefore it's no longer in effect anyway, might as well remove it. A more subtle change that invalidated some of the standing rules was the in 2020, the LPF voted to place Robert's rules in the superior position to the standing rules, and that made several standing rules out of order because they contradicted Ronner. This actually has also generated some bylaws proposals to fix some of those cases. And then the remainder, we determined that it was not a problem and the standing rules was already redundantly specifying what was in Ronner. So most of the changes, like I said, are 80% cuts. Of the 20% of the content we kept, we rearranged it to be a somewhat more sensible document flow in terms of articles and sections so that mere mortals could hopefully find what they're looking for in that document. It was not an easy read previously. We made some wordsmithing cleanup to simplify wording. Those of you know that the type of person who often writes standing rules, myself included, is not always the briefest of writers, and we were able to find ways of condensing the words to achieve the same effect. And this included some fairly recent amendments as well as some stuff that predated me joining the party. We also made a couple of minor updates due to law changes since the standing rules were written. In particular, we adjusted the date that presidential electors need to be submitted and updated to reflect the law that more information needs to be submitted about electors than in the past. The one thing that we absolutely did not do was propose entirely new rules, change the intent of the rules as existed or any other policies, and we did not otherwise make giant substantive changes to any of the rules. That we saw our task as housekeeping, and policy is more the job of the executive committee than the rules committee. So that's a summary of the changes. Hopefully folks had a chance to read ahead. I submitted the email to you on Tuesday, but if we need to go in depth into any of the changes, I'd be happy to do so.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peel. Is there any discussion or questions for Mr. Peel on the motion here? Mr. Roos, I see your hands up. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to once again come back to this Rules Committee and say that this committee has done a lot of work, and thank you so much for the time and effort that's been done. I've been able to have the opportunity to step in and watch you guys work a couple times, and really your presentation right now is very humble. Let me just inform the board that there's like 4 iterations of standing rules going back to before 1997 that were still there. The party was founded in 87. Party became got permanent ballot access in 97, 98. It was incorporated like 10, 12 years ago, and all the way down to the present with the legal changes under Florida law, and so this cleanup is as thorough, squeaking cleanup as you can get, and I want to just give credit where credit's due. Thank you so much, Mr. Peel, and to your committee.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roos. Is there any further discussion or questions for the Rules Committee on the motion? All right. Hearing and seeing no further discussion here, we will, go ahead, Mr. Appler, sir.
I just wanted to note that Mr. Vincent is in the meeting now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. We can. All right, Mr. Vincent, thank you for joining us here. Hearing and seeing no further.
I have one. I apologize. I have one late question for Mr. Peel. This is Mr. Koritzer, if I may.
Go ahead. Yes, sir, Mr. Koritzer, you have the floor.
Right. Under Section 4 of the old bylaws, which was struck, it referred to no more than 2 absences by any EC member may be considered excused in any consecutive 12-month period. They struck that and didn't leave any number of months. What was the intent of making a change like that to Mr. Peel? Was it to just remove the number 2, or to basically say it's up to the EC? Just wanted to understand why he struck that without putting something else in.
Mr. Peel?
Yep, give me a second. I will pull up my detailed notes and make sure that I have an explanation for this, or maybe perhaps Mr. Koritzer caught something we missed.
You replaced 4E with C under B, and then you made F. You struck out. It's F that I was asking under 4.
I am seeing that as well, Mr. Peel.
Okay.
Yeah, Article 5, Section 4.
Oh, so no more than 2 absences may be considered excused. The clause F that is struck.
Right. What was the reasoning behind it? There obviously at some point was intent to say that you can't miss more than 2, and you said you didn't want to change anything, but it looks like you changed something, and that's why I was asking what was the intent or the understanding when you did that.
Let's see. So the intent, I think, and I don't remember since this was set quite a few months ago, but I believe the intent was to delegate this to the executive committee by majority vote, either directly per subsection B or to the chair by the executive committee, not overriding the chair by appealing the ruling of the chair. And to make this a decision of the executive committee. Yes, I think that was the intent, was there may be members who have valid reasons for missing more than 2 meetings, and it would be up to the executive committee as a whole to decide whether that made sense or not. There's also the case where if anyone is an elected Libertarian public official, in that particular case, if they're absent from any meeting because they're participating in government business, they are excused and cannot be removed for that reason anyway. So that's a statutory thing, albeit unlikely to happen in this EC's case, given that y'all meet on Sundays. So yes, I think the intent was to delegate that back to the executive committee, and the rules committee felt that the prescription was unnecessarily specific.
Thank you for clarifying.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peel. Is there any further discussion on the motion at hand? All right. Hearing and seeing no further discussion here, guys, we will move this to a voice vote here. So a yay vote would be to approve the new standing rules as submitted by the Rules Committee. A no vote would be to maintain the current many-page longer standing rules that we currently have here. Does everybody understands what we're voting on? No questions? All right here. So all in favor of approving the new standing rules as submitted, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. All right, sounds like the ayes have it unanimously. Congratulations. We have a new, much shorter standing rules to work off of. So thank you again for that there. And I have lost my agenda here, so please give me an extra minute to get us back on track here. Don't know what happened to my page, so I do apologize. All right, and here we are. I apologize for the technical difficulties I am working through. So we are now back on orders of the day. We have moved on to motion number 826 here. Title of the motion is Motion for Technical and Conforming Changes to the LPF Constitution. The mover was Mr. Appler on behalf of the Rules Committee here. Since it was moved through committee, it does not require a second there. I know Mr. Appler has already said he would like to defer to Mr. Peel to speak on behalf of the motion there. So, Mr. Peel, when you are ready, you have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I will preface this by saying I am absolutely delighted that the EC read that proposal in enough depth to spot that inconsistency. So that was my present for today. For this constitutional proposal, this is invoking the authority that the Rules Committee was granted to propose technical and conforming changes to the LPF's governing documents in between annual business meetings, basically so that we aren't wasting delegates' time on spelling, grammar, commas, and things like that. So in contrast to the previous proposal, this one was about 15 minutes of work to go through the Constitution and clean up the same types of errors that were in the bylaws amendment that this EC previously considered and adopted. I believe it was 2 months ago. So the list of changes that we propose the Constitution are identical to the sets of changes that were already adopted for the bylaws. And I will also note we applied all of these changes to the standing rules that you just adopted as well. The specific list of changes are we consistently style executive committee positions as chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer, director at large, and regional representative, to match the terminology that's being used everywhere else, exactly formatted that way with capitalization and hyphens. You would be amazed at how inconsistent our documents were on that. But to be fair, these clauses were written by many different people over 40 plus years. So I guess it's to be expected. We also consistently style references to numbers and vote thresholds. The author of the document liked to spell out a number and then put the number in parentheses. Regardless of how one may feel about that, we made sure it was at least consistently done everywhere. Also consistently style capitalization and spelling of Constitution, bylaw, and standing rules. We also consistently capitalize positions, committees, meetings, and events when they refer to a specific one at the state level, and lowercase them when they're generically referring to, for example, multiple county affiliates. Indentation and font. Consistently style the Libertarian Party of Florida as LPF. Strike a lot of hyphens and commas. Some of the original document authors really liked commas where they were not grammatically necessary. And then also consistently style references to the national party as the Libertarian Party, and then with the adjective national where it's necessary to clarify. So the individual marked up changes, I believe, were in the proposal that were submitted on Tuesday, but I'd be happy to address any specific issues or corrections that need to be made that we did not miss on, or we did not find on submission.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Peel. Is there any questions or comments for the Rules Committee in regards to this motion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Vinson. You have the floor, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to, one, make sure that the secretary has me on as being present. Sorry I was late. I was tabling an event in St. Pete. And then also just wanted to make a comment, tell Greg he's doing the Lord's work because this is hard work and getting all of our documents consistent and up to date. So good job, Greg.
All right. So, yes, sir. We did have you noted as being on the call here tonight, Mr. Vinson. So you are noted as attended there. And, you know, going to say Rules is another thankless committee, as I always say there. So, you know, I too appreciate Mr. Peel and the rest of the committee's hard work on this, because wordsmithing is not always fun, nor is being the grammar cleanup people. So, Mr. Kortzer, go ahead, sir.
Hi, I know I'm being very picky, but these are the type of documents you just have to ask the question on, at least. So again, for Mr. Peel, he talks about style changes. Is he planning, for instance, commas he brought up? As we know, the use of commas from when I went to public school in the 60s and 70s have changed since then. CMOS, which is the Chicago method, is what's basically accepted now in academia and all of that. He mentions a standard style. He doesn't mention what style he's using. When you move a comma, you can change the meaning of a clause. So I just want some clarity on when he means style and removing or changing commas.
Mr. Peel?
Yes, sir. So to address the first comment, the LPF has not adopted any particular style guide other than just trying to be consistent with itself. So there is no overall governing style guide. As far as the commas in particular, I mean, the exact proposal is here. We've shown every delta we've made. The only example that I can think of, if I can find it, is that there was a sentence that had multiple commas in the sentence that were grammatically incorrect and therefore could not have possibly changed the meaning.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Peel. Is there any further discussion or questions on the motion? All right.
This is a motion to make a suggestion, or this is a motion to execute? Just want to be sure. I understand.
Mr. Chair, I can answer that one and give an important detail if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Mr. Peel, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a motion to execute in accordance with the authority granted by the Constitution. with the caveat that it requires a 3/4 vote of this EC, and any changes that do change the meaning are out of order if it's so determined by the delegation that happened.
Thank you.
Relevant information, Mr. Peel. I appreciate that. And, you know, a very important point there that it does require a 3/4 vote. So when we do go to a vote for this, guys, it will be a roll call vote so that we can ensure we do have 3/4. Just want to get out ahead of that there. That said, is there any further questions or discussion on the motion here? All right, hearing and seeing no one else looking to be recognized, we will move on to voting. Because this is a motion that has a vote threshold requirement in order to pass, we will be going to a roll call vote for this. So, Mr. Appler, when you're ready, you may go ahead with that roll call vote, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Josh Walker.
I will vote yes.
Tub Rohrbaugh.
Yes.
Edward Epler, I'm voting aye. Matt Leisner.
Aye.
Robert Vincent.
Aye.
Hector Roos.
Yes.
Lee Kartzer.
Yes.
Rachel McCauley.
Aye.
Matt Johnson.
Yes.
Greg Quinn.
Aye.
Adam Whitworth.
Aye.
Mike Ruffo.
Yes.
John Path.
Aye.
Deanna Cosma.
Deanna? She's muted.
Aye.
Lisa Gansky.
Aye.
15 ayes. No nays.
All right. All right, that is a unanimous vote. So the ayes have it. That's more than 3/4. Congratulations. We have made some grammatical and style changes to the Constitution there. So save the delegates some time there. Mr. Peel, thank you and your committee for once again all the hard work you do. It's a thankless job a lot of times being on the Rules Committee there. So once again, just want to express my appreciation to you and your team, you know, and what you guys do for us here.
Mr.
All
Chair,
right,
may I
guys.
speak one final comment on that?
Absolutely, Mr. Peel, go ahead.
I want to state that I actually don't feel that it's a thankless job. The executive committee and the other party members have been surprisingly interested and appreciative of our work. And this is not something I've necessarily seen a long time ago. So it is noticed and welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Peel. We all appreciate the work that you guys do on your team there. And we have one more motion to get through here tonight, guys. So we will move along on the agenda to motion number 827. This motion is titled Motion to Approve up to $1,500 for a merchandise table at LPF Con. The mover is Jerry Tub Rohrbaugh on behalf of the fundraising committee there. Since this came out of committee, it does not require a second, it looks like there. Mr. Rohrbaugh, would you like to speak on behalf of the motion since I don't see Mr. Nicola on the call tonight?
Yes, I can briefly. So all it is, a lot of this is just carryover from what they've done in previous years about how they run the table, stuff along those lines from convention to convention. So I guess the bigger part of this is a lot of words to say that we would like to have the material there so that we can supply the table for the convention. So it's most of that money I think that's showing there. Although Patrick Leisner did explain to me that the 200 doesn't have to show as an expense because it's just going back into the LPF again anyway. So the rest of that is basically just for materials for the table itself.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rohrbar. Is there any discussion or questions on the motion here tonight? Ms. Gansky, I see your hands up. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, I have a few concerns, and the first one is because this is about having the t-shirts made for the convention to sell, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's to have some on hand. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I commented this, I don't know that anyone replied. I didn't see a reply. That design was ripped off of something that was already on Redbubble. So my first issue is we paid to have somebody just steal somebody else's design by the looks of it. The second concern I have is the t-shirt does not even say LPF convention. It doesn't have our logo on it. It's literally just somebody copied and pasted something that was already on Redbubble. The reason this bothers me is because I design t-shirts on Redbubble and you only get like $4 commission on t-shirts anyway. So it's a little bit frustrating. So the other thing that I wanted to comment is I believe the total requested is a bit high. I think in order for us to break even, I think we probably have to sell the t-shirts around $30. I think you would want to have like 5 small, 5 medium, 10 large, 5 extra large, something like that. But my concerns about the design are kind of making it so that I don't want to vote for this. It's not that I don't think we should sell shirts. I think it would be nice to have a few there. I think we've waited way too long. Probably this should have gone to the convention crew to kind of like work out the details here. I know that Josh had like said he would pay from his fund to get this design done. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I have concerns. This t-shirt does not say LPF Con on it. Doesn't say the year. There's really no reason to buy it. Anyway, that's it.
Now from my side of that, I have zero influence on the design of the shirt and everything. I have nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm simply saying, how do we stock the table? And to be honest with you, the number there, I'm perfectly fine with any number changes that we have to make there.
Yeah, I would say if you're asking me, it shouldn't exceed $500.
All right, Ms. Gansky, are you proposing an amendment to lower the number to 500?
I would propose that, but I still plan to vote against this because I think the design is not where it needs to be for us to be paying somebody to that like didn't actually do any work. And I asked about it, and yeah, so let's propose that we reduce it to $500.
All right, so there's been a amendment proposed to reduce the budget from up to $1,500 to up to $500. Is there a second on that amendment?
I'll second that.
All right, Ms. Cosma seconds. Is there any discussion on the amendment? All right. Hearing and seeing no discussion on the amendment, we'll take it to a quick voice vote. A yay vote would be in favor of reducing the number from 1,500 to 500. A no vote would be to keep it at 1,500. Are there any questions on what we're voting on with the amendment? Hearing and seeing no questions here. All in favor of amending the number from 1,500 to 500, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no.
Nay.
No.
All right. All right, the ayes have it. Oh. Either way, sounds like the ayes have it by a majority. Motion passes there. The number is now set at a $500 budget for the fundraising committee to stock the table. I see Mr. Leisner's hand is up. You may go ahead when you're ready, sir.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to get a couple quick questions related to the logistics of this. I know we typically use, I'm not sure who, but it's like a drop shipper for our merchandise. And I know like that's typically good for ordering 1 or 2 shirts at a time, but if we're ordering this many ahead of time, I just feel like it might make sense to order through a local printer, someone maybe that can get us a discount at, since we're purchasing 20, 30, 40 shirts or whatever the number ends up being. So I just wanted to clarify on that. And then I know Tub already kind of mentioned it, but I just wanted to reiterate that obviously we don't need to pay anything for a vendor table, so no money would be going to that. Like we can take care of that on our end. And that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Mr. Leisner. Is there any further discussion on the main motion again? All
Mr.
right,
Chair.
go ahead, Mr. Roos.
Sure. Just mentioned discussion from the fundraising committee was the reality that that this needed to go to a local vendor in order to maximize the dollar. So this was not going to be purchased through Printify, which is the drop shipper.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roos. Is there any further discussion on the motion here as amended?
No, that answered my question anyway, so I appreciate that.
All right, awesome. Any further discussion, questions, anything involved with the motion here? Just want to remind everybody, we did amend the motion now to approve up to $500 for the merchandise table for LPF Con, no longer the 1,500 mark. All right, hearing and seeing no further discussion is wanted, we'll move on to a vote here. Since it's now down to $500, we'll just take this to a simple voice vote. So a yes vote would be to approve the $500 budget for the merchandise table. A no vote would be to disapprove that expenditure there. Is there any questions on what we're voting on here? All right, hearing and seeing none. All in favor of approving the $500 budget, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no.
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 Believe the ayes had it there, guys. So the motion sounds like it was approved. The $500 will be going to the fundraising committee for the LPF table, and let's try to do our best to net some reward out of that there, guys. So all right, so back on to orders of the day here. We would go on to item 13 on the agenda, which is notice that the next executive committee meeting will be the annual business meeting, aka the ABM in Jacksonville, Florida, from January. It's a little bit of a typo there, guys. It says the 21st through the 22nd, 2024, but it's actually going to be the 19th through the 21st, 2024 in Jacksonville there, guys. So if you haven't already, please book your hotel room, purchase your VIP or your ticket packages there, guys. Let's try and make this a good convention up in Jacksonville and Duval. Item 14 is announcements. So we'll have about 10 minutes here for any announcements there. Is there anybody on the board looking to be recognized with any announcements?
Wait. Me.
Go ahead, Ms. Cosma, go.
Oh, just as always, I want to mention once again our Libertarian Party of Palm Beach County private fishing charter that's going to be February 24th from 1 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll have the vote to ourselves. Tickets are available through our website, lppbc.com. You can go there. There's a link to our donation site. Until the end of December, it's $100 a person. After the new year, it's $125 per person. So we'd love to see anyone from neighboring counties come join us. Share the event if possible, and let's get some people on board to have a good time.
Awesome, Ms. Cosmic. Absolutely. And yes, sir, Mr. Appler, it's just the 22nd is a Monday, so I think you're off by one day is what I'm saying. I only know that because the 22nd is my birthday, and I didn't plan to be in the meeting for that. So if there's extra ABM, let me know. I'm gonna have to get a little extra time off, but no, you're all good there, Ed. No worries. Lisa, I see your hands up. Miss Gansky, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody, because I think everybody who's on, aside from Smitty, we do still need like very short paragraphs. Like I'm talking 2 to 3 sentences for convention, about your regions, about your, like if you're Dow, just give us an update. And if you're, one of the board, yeah, we also need a letter from you, Josh. I think I was messaging you about that. We're trying to get these things together for the magazine, and we really are at the point where we really need to order these like this week. So please try to get it to us the next day.
All right. So you heard her, guys. I'm guilty as well there.
You
Go
can
ahead.
send to me or Pat on Discord, or you can send to convention@lpf.org.
Awesome, guys. So like I was saying, I'm guilty of it too. Let's get these reports into the convention committee. I'll do my best to get that letter in either, tomorrow or Tuesday for you there, Lisa. And,
Awesome. It's literally like for the rest of the folks on the call, it's just kind of like a highlight or two of what you did this year. Something that you're happy with, yada, yada. It's 2 to 3 sentences. That's it. Does not need to be long.
There you go, guys. Short, sweet, to the point. Get it over to them. Let's get it done so we can get that magazine published for everybody for the convention this year. Is there any further announcements from the executive committee here? All right, hearing none, I will close the announcements out by just wanting to mention, for those of you who weren't aware, we had the LPF holiday party last weekend in Broward County. Another really successful fundraising event there. I believe when I crunched the numbers there, we made about 190% over what we, just pure profit on what we put into it. So once again, this holiday party, I remember 3 years ago when I proposed it originally, I had prior EC members laugh at me and say that this was a joke event and that it would bankrupt the LPF. And this has overwhelmingly been one of our most prosperous and most profitable events we do every year, guys. So I'm looking forward to doing it in a new location next year. Definitely going to be looking to take bids, see if there is anybody interested in, having it in their area. So if you know anybody who, affiliates who'd like to be interested in hosting it, definitely let me know. I also have a survey out for the membership in general to see what they're looking for, what kind of things would interest them, entice them more to come to the party, how are the ticket prices, that kind of stuff. So if you haven't already done the survey, guys, please take that little quick Google form survey. It would mean a lot. So that way we know what we, where and when and how to do it next year. And, we can, make it the best party we can for everybody there. All right. So moving along here, we will go to item 15, which is adjournment there. And at this time, I will entertain the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Mr. Rufo moves. Mr. Johnson seconds. Is there any
I
objection?
object.
All right.
I object on behalf of Mr. Reader for the last time this year.
Is there any substantial objections to adjournment?
I second Mr. Reader's objection.
I see Robert Vincent has his hand up.
Oh, yep, he does. Mr. Vincent, go ahead, sir. Mr. Vincent? I can't hear you. Oh. Yeah, I see your hands up. Go ahead, Rob. Going once. All right, I'm trying to recognize. Yeah, he's saying it's not working, guys. I'm sorry. All right, there. So, all right. Do we have any substantial objections to adjournment at this time? All right. Hearing no substantial objections, although the reader objection is always well taken. This meeting is adjourned, guys. Congratulations. We've made it through our last meeting of the term. Next time we're all going to meet should be in person for most of us at the ABM in Jackson.